Welcome back to the channel, guys. In this video we're doing an update on Pinknode. This has been much requested, so pretty much I'm going to update you with everything I know that has happened since the original video here just 2 months ago. I think it was around the 15th of August. Quite a lot has changed, many partnerships and updates to go through, and we know a little bit more about this project now. So without further ado, we will crack on with this video. But if you are new here, make sure you subscribe to the channel for updates like this. So in that previous video, Pinknode was roughly $6 million in market cap, around 8 cents in price, and so it has appreciated quite a bit since then. When we've just posted up 25 cents, we were as high as around 30 cents on a wick just over the last few days. So this one has certainly been picking up with the price action, and I think this is kind of an inevitability as we are entering into Polkadot season. There's a lot more interest in this overall market and ecosystem right now, but Pinknode has been proving itself, and this is the reason why this has picked up, which we'll look at in just a second. If we just pull up the 90-day chart here, you can see that this could have left you maybe leaving your position if you did not have diamond hands and you weren't invested in this with a good thesis behind your investment decision. As you can see, up to around the 11th of October here, we were pretty much in a downtrend and just bounced around the bottom here around 6.5, 7 cents. So anyone who exited, who didn't have their conviction here, may have just left a lot on the table, as over the last couple of weeks here we've had an exponential growth in price, and you can also see from the volume profile down here that there's some big bids coming in, and a lot of whales I expect have now entered the market here. Now first off, I want to note on the markets front, this one is only available on Uniswap currently, which serves as an advantage for us who are used to using Uniswap. We can get in early on these projects before they have centralized exchange listings. And that's something that seems to be in the pipeline from speaking with members of the team over on Telegram. They are aware that the community wants a centralized exchange, but this will come in due course, but currently only on a DEX, and that is via Uniswap. This means you have to pay a high gas fee to get your hands on the tokens, but this does mean you can get in earlier than the majority of people. Now in that previous video, we discussed the unlocking of tokens from the pre-sale. As we know, all cryptocurrencies go through pre-sales to get them funded and off the ground. And this one happened over on Polkadot during around May time. Last time we tracked some of the unlocks to pre-sale participants, and that was typically happening on the 14th of each month. Now this batch of pre-sale tokens were given out to seed round investors. So people who were involved in the public round, those Polkadot entrants, have all received their tokens already. The last one was back in August, I believe it was. But then these guys here, this seed round, had an additional 3 months, September, October, and November. So there will be a final unlock on November the 14th that will also hit the market. But as of now, we have seen the majority of pre-sale tokens enter the market. It's been diluted quite a bit during this initial phase, but the flow of new tokens is set to slow considerably. And we factor on top of this, there was a liquidity mining program as well. So if you provided liquidity for the Pinknode to ETH pair, you were also receiving Pinknode rewards on top. That also ended on the 4th of October. So the amount of new tokens entering the market is going down significantly, and the number of new entrants entering the market is going up. And thus you get an increase in price as a natural byproduct of increased demand and less supply hitting the market. But still just 2,200 holders, so I would consider this fairly early on. Still, I think we will surpass 10,000 holders during this cycle. So Pinknode provides infrastructure as a service for the Polkadot ecosystem, and it's directly on Polkadot only. That is its main focus. So it has a bit of a unique position here. There are some other competitors in the industry such as Apron Protocol, but they're on Polkadot and Ethereum as well. But these guys focus solely on Polkadot, and they've got quite a lot of partnerships thus far. I think 16 in total, but some notable names here, the likes of A-Star, Crust, Pontum Network, that is the Facebook experimental blockchain, and this is what really got me onto Pinknode in the first place. I thought that was an epic partnership, but also some other names here like Poker Bridge, Kylan Network, and DFin, just to name a few. So during this period, they've actually now completed 200 million requests through their API endpoints. And essentially what this means is these guys will run nodes as a service, provide backend infrastructure for these projects so they don't have to concentrate on those things. They can then crack on with their specialisms and ensure they deliver the best products possible and leave any node-based API endpoint and technical infrastructure issues to the Pinknode team. So essentially it's like having an additional set of hands handling all the stuff that you maybe don't really want to do. And so as the Polkadot ecosystem rolls out further, we have parachains coming soon. We've also got Kusama with more parachains coming out. The potential user base of Pinknode is only going to grow. So in a recent publication here on the Medium, they put why Pinknode and did a bit of an explainer as to why you would choose Pinknode's infrastructure. And they talk about here the successful launch of Kusama parachains and an explosive growth in development activity on that chain. On top of this, we have the Polkadot parachains coming around mid-November for the start of the auctions, and they'll launch roughly in middle of December. Now, all of these new participants on the network will be looking for, as they say, dependable infrastructure solutions to begin building on Polkadot. Running a node is a core part of any infrastructure here, as they enable critical functions on the network, such as validating transactions, storing records of the blockchain, or submitting votes on network governance. And here at Pinknode, they describe it as the superhighway network of blockchain infrastructure. So currently, Polkadot does offer some free API endpoints, but it's expected that these will become less efficient over time as more network participants come online. And so a project team is left with a few options here. They could run their own nodes, but this is maybe cumbersome, takes them away from their daily duties. Maybe they don't want to do that. And as they put down here in this GIF, seems like a lot of work. Over on the Ethereum network, 130,000 developers are registered to the largest third-party infrastructure provider, which is Infura. So you can see that typically, developers don't want to do this infrastructure stuff themselves. They're happy to outsource. So Pinknode steps in here, provides the maintenance required for that infrastructure, and the costs are shared amongst all participants. So what happens is Pinknode tokens are purchased by teams and staked for access to API endpoints, and these tokens will only be burned when their requests are actually made. So it's actually a more flexible payment system than a typical subscription model, which would have a fixed monthly cost. You only pay for what you actually use. So the Pinknode advantage here is that you can get this scalable infrastructure for a relatively cheap cost. And at this stage, with over 200 million successful requests being made, you know that this is a reliable service. They have their nodes globally distributed and are able to handle the load of increased network demands. And so they summarize here, as Polkadot blockchain changes, so will its infrastructure demands. While Polkadot's public API endpoints and running personal nodes have thus far served Polkadot developers, Pinknode's infrastructure solutions are the springboard that developers will use to take their projects to the next level. So they are anticipating a flood of more partnerships to come. They also had a very interesting AMA recently over on Parachain Domain, its Telegram. So I just want to run through some of the highlights from this AMA that really interested me. So within the AMA, they were asked, what are some of the problems that Pinknode is trying to solve? And Sean from the team here goes on to note that first, it's the lack of infrastructure support currently on Polkadot, but secondly, it's the potential complexity of node communication inherited from Polkadot's unique architecture, with up to 100 parachains communicating with each other through cross-chain messaging passing. So a typical EVM node operator that would be on Ethereum has a more simplified architecture, making things a bit easier, but on Polkadot, this is going to be a lot more complex. So they manage the increased complexity through a microservice in Kubernetes architecture, which helps greatly reduce the amount of redundancy required to maintain when dealing with such a huge number of different networks. In short, we adapt our network architecture according to Polkadot's network structure. So as this highlights, it's complex to run the node infrastructure on Polkadot, so you would typically want to outsource this, and Pinknode provide that service. They also note that they have 16 announced partners so far, some of those I highlighted earlier, but Pinknode practices blockchain agnosticism in onboarding parachains or para-thread partners onto the platform. So currently we have integrated more parachains and more parachain candidates such as Fowler and Bifrost, to name a few. So some big name additions there. These are ones that are definitely be getting parachains, and they say they're not going to stop until they cover the whole Polkadot ecosystem. So this could be that real layer zero infrastructure play for the whole ecosystem. That's the end goal with this. Now, further down the line, they've talked about fractional ownership of nodes. So this would allow you to generate a passive income by participating in their collator or RPC node operations. So we could front some of the P-node tokens required and then get a cut of the revenues. This would further enhance buy-in by the community and, as they say, empower the wider community to take ownership in the blockchain development with solutions to encourage their participation, not just developers who are using our service to create dApps. And typically what we see when staking is enabled or some form of node ownership like this, you would typically see a lot of tokens being locked up and thus less circulating supply on the market. Sean also notes here that currently P-node is an ERC20 only token, but they're working on making it a Polkadot native token as well, and this is coming in the pipeline. Then final bit of alpha here from the AMA. Currently the team is busy working on launching Pinknode 1.0, which will be the front-end dashboard for better user experience, management and monitoring capabilities, and also several key upgrades and optimization to our K8 clusters. So Pinknode 1.0 is the movement from the MVP, the minimum viable product, to the first release of Pinknode's main product. And this product release is expected to possibly go live around mid-November, and that is kind of the same time period as the start of the parachain auctions on Polkadot. So this would tie in nicely with those timings, and that would leave us to possibly expect some parachain hopefuls announcing that they've integrated Pinknode's infrastructure as a service. If that happens, certainly a bullish sign, but I will keep tabs on this and provide updates as and when this does occur. But certainly with the Cambrian explosion happening on Polkadot, any infrastructure play is more likely to be used and adopted with the network growth. Then the most recent partnership announcement here was with Polkadex. This is quite a cool decentralized exchange because it actually combines a load of features from a typical centralized exchange with a normal centralized exchange order book. So this is a real hybrid DEX that has a parachain bid in the pipeline coming. And this from Eric Poe from Pinknode. With its ingenious hybrid of DeFi novelty and traditional order book efficiency, Polkadex has much more to offer the ecosystem. We would like to congratulate Polkadex on the successful mainnet launch, but we're also aware that Polkadex now turned its focus to preparing for its parachain bid, and we are ecstatic to be part of the journey. And this is good brownie points for Pinknode. If you can get partnerships with these projects that are then getting parachain slots, it does help bolster your stock. Pinknode have also recently put forward a Polkadot Treasury proposal. They were essentially asking for some funds for UI and UX improvements to their project. And if you go up to here and you click on the actual motion, you can see that this was recently executed and approved. So they've now got official funding from Polkadot, which is certainly a very bullish thing. And this could potentially see them being named as an official infrastructure partner for the ecosystem. So the acceptance of this motion by the council just 6 days ago actually times in very nicely with this price action just here, as this was around the 19th of October. And this is when, maybe I'm speculating a little bit, but the volume went up crazily. So I think at this point, some whales decided this was a good opportunity to enter the market, as this project has been given a bit of a nod from the Polkadot Council. So it's no surprise here to see Pinknode as one of the best performing Polkadot ecosystem plays over the last 7 days. It's up 121%. As you can see, wiping the floor with all the other competitors here. Also a quick touch on this, the Pontum network. This is Facebook's DM with its experimental blockchain Pontum. So this launched on Polkadot. They're going to be carrying out a load of experimental works over here. And of course, they partnered with Pinknode. And this is what initially got me super bullish on this project. When you've got big money bags like Facebook coming and testing out the blockchain here, and they choose you as a partner, clearly you must be doing something right. Now, these guys are very bullish on the fact that they're going to get a Kusama parachain, as they're actually just trying to decide on their Kusama parachain name. So again, when you're partnering with these projects and then they're getting parachain slots, this can only help boost your stock. So over the coming week, we have this, the next Kusama parachain auction. It just went live today. So again, the Kusama ecosystem expanding. And then if we go over to Polkadot here, we can see the first auctions will begin week commencing November the 11th. So as both of these ecosystems expand, there's going to be increased demand for infrastructure plays such as Pinknode. And so I really do think the future is very bright for this project. So let me know down below in the comment section, do you think the future is bright for Pinknode? Are they going to increase the number of partners as the Polkadot ecosystem expands? I certainly think so, and from reviewing all the information here over the last couple of months, I'm very happy with my investment decision into this network. So as ever, if you're new here, make sure you subscribe, leave me a thumbs up and a comment below, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Goodbye.